We're going to provide a training session today on the Lutron lighting system. We call it our quantum lighting system, and this is basically we're controlling all the spaces on the third floor, all the common areas, and all the common areas on the first floor. Here in the third floor for all the meeting areas, we have a customized lighting system that you're predominantly going to control it from these keypads here, which I'll show you, but we also have an iPad app or your phone or whatever. Andrew's on his laptop, and you can also control the lights that way. All right. My suggestion is how you use this system is you use this to set up all the different buttons on the keypad. Then after that, you're just pretty much in manual mode because these things get lost and stuff and all that. So to give you an example. Layout of this floor. So right now we're in the boardroom, which is right here. I can just go ahead and push that. You can quickly turn the lights on and off, or you can come to the dashboard, which seems to be the popular term these days. You can look at things like what is the energy consumption at this room, alerts. Do we have any problems with this room that maintenance would be alerted to the fact that, hey, these lights aren't working or things like that. Schedules, you can have time clock events. 7 a.m. I want the lights to come on. Every night at midnight I want them to come off. Typically for these types of rooms you don't do that, but you have that option of being able to do that. You can control the light. Tuning, this is for daylighting, which you don't have. And ballast drivers, nothing we're going to worry about today. But so you can come in here for lights. And these switches here show you the individual light settings. On this side though is the settings for the scenes. These buttons here are the same buttons that you'll see on this keypad. So the top button's at 100%. You can see all the sliders at 100. Can everybody see this? Okay. And then next one is 75%. You feel the lights go down just a little. 50%, 75%. I have this 1% thing here. I can turn them off. This is a master raise lower. I can raise the lights up. I can lower all the lights down. So you have a lot of flexibility. You're going to end up setting this up similar to the events that you have in here. So you'll have, maybe you'll have I find that 100% is just too bright, too glary, it's not comfortable. Now maybe you want to do it right after lunch when everybody's sleepy, but other than that, I think it's too bright. So you can always change this to a different value. Or you can sit there and say, hey, we're going to leave 100% for the cleaning people. So when they come in, they hit the top button, they know that they can clean the room, and then you can have your thing. You can change the names of these. Right now they're just default names, 175, 50, 25, and all. But you can change it to general discussion, that you're having here. You can have another one where you have AV. So if you're going to put a projector there, you might want to kill some of the lights for the projector so you don't throw glare out. You may have teleconferencing, have another button for teleconferencing. So just think about the different types of uses for the rooms, name the buttons, those same things, and then go ahead and adjust the scenes for that so that they will do everything that you want. And then you can just come to here. So here we're here. So I can sit here and say, let's see, I think this one is the center chandelier. I can turn it off. So for you may have a scene where you don't want the chandelier on. And then you can just come here, save it. I choose a scene. We're going to save it for the 75% scene. I hit save. And that is the new save. That is the new scene for 75. All right, so when I come down to 75, you can see that it's off. Come here back to 50, everything goes to 50, come here to 75. Come on, baby.
Is that an app or is that an actual wall unit?
What's that?
Is that an app or is that an actual wall unit that's in each room?
This here? Well, no, this is actually a web browser, so it's just like going to Yahoo. We have a web server down in the second floor, and you're just connecting it. So your phone, if we give you the connect information, you can use your phone, connect to it, and control the lights. You're not limited by having to get an app off of a website. You don't have to use a specialized iPad app or anything like that. He's using his laptop, I'm using this. If I wanted to, I could use my phone and control it.
But
Hi, we're in meeting room 3. This is the keypad that will be controlling it. We have 5 different buttons. This is scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, and the off button. These 2 buttons here are master, raise, and lower. So right now, all the lights are set right now to be 100%. This button here, button number 3, all the lights are set to 50%. Button 4 is 25%. I can turn everything off. This is a master raise, and so I can raise all the lights. You can see the lights getting brighter. I can lower all the lights. I can set it back to a scene. And all of this can be changed with the iPad, but all of your meeting rooms, including the boardroom on the 3rd floor, will have this same basic setup. 4 different customized scenes, plus an off scene, plus a master raise lower. We're here in the Blue Harmony Spa. Again, the Lutron lighting system controls this whole space. I'm just going to move over to here. There's a keypad over here, 5 buttons, just like we've seen in the meeting rooms. Currently today, this keypad controls the Blue Spa only. If I turn off this, it turns off this, all right? There are no keypads in the men's locker room, the women's locker room. So, as I talked to Annalise about this, if you wanted to, we could reprogram that keypad to sit there and say, when you push that button, you have the top button maybe be cleaning, the second button be daytime, and it can set everything. It can be a master override. You can do the treatment rooms, it can do the nail salon, it can do everything in this direction for you. You guys just decide how you want it to work for you. But you have to know that the men's and women's locker room, there is no keypads. That means that there's no manual control. You can have the lights come on by a time clock event, like at 7 a.m. the lights come on, you know, and midnight they turn off, something like that. Or you can leave them on all the time, 24/7. Or you can add some manual control either by getting additional keypads to control these rooms independently, or just program it all on this one keypad. You just have this be the master controller for everything here in the spa. However you want to do that. Okay, nail salon has a 5-button keypad, just like this room does. So it's just as we had discussed for all the other rooms. This room here, the couples therapy deal, 5-button keypad. All right, same thing like we've seen everywhere else. All right. These lights here, there are no local control. So this is again a time clock, or you know, lights come on at 7, turn off at whatever, or you guys add some sort of manual control to it.
All the common area falls under that? Got
Well, actually, the locker room,
Okay.
I mean, so all, you know, you saw that keypad up front.
Yes.
That did just that center blue spa. Say, so the nail salon had its own keypad, this has its own keypad, but then all this locker room, all the way to the thing on this side, all of this is common area, time clock, or something like that. These rooms all have keypads in it. And, oh, this is couples therapy. That was something else. All right, let's take a look at a different room here.
So that keypad in that room.
Yep. 175, 50, 25.
That's what it is? Yep.
The whole place has been programmed that way.
It's programmed that way.
Okay. Now this room, why don't you guys come in, because this room is definitely different than the other ones. So we call this room zone control. The other rooms were scene control. You pushed a button and you controlled all the lights, you know, so you sat there and said, I have a presentation scene, I have a AV scene, and all the lights change. Here, each one of these only control one zone. So if you take a look at it, we still have a couple lighting issues here, so, but this one is going to control these lights here, all right? This one here is going to control the side wall wash, all right? Each one of these has a raise lower button on it. So if I come here, I lower it, I can lower it, all right? This one here controls the pendant. That's right behind you. All right?
Oh, okay, I get you.
Each one is a
has-
zone. It's controlling its
gotcha.
own lighting
Okay.
zone. And then this one controls the one above the sink.
Got it.
All right? So
Thank you.
the upside of this is that in this room, you can do the things, control the individual lights individually like we couldn't do in the meeting room, in the boardroom. You know, we kept talking about that. You got 5 buttons that are all scene buttons, right? The downside is, if you want to light up this room, what do you have to do? You got to press this one, you got to press this one, you got to press this one, and you got to press this
That's
one.
the difference between a zone and a scene.
Absolutely, you're controlling each one independently, all right?
Gotcha.
So one of the things I talked to Annalise about was you could take one of these, turn it into a master controller, so that when you walk in and you have the scene set up, not for 100%, for something really nice. So when a client first walks in, you just push one button, everything is really nice, right? And then she sat there and said, but I do want some zone control because, you know, right where their face is, they may want to dim these down a little bit.
That's good because,
Right.
you know, I mean, I guess you may need more light for a particular treatment.
No question.
Or something.
Absolutely.
They want to see more light in that area
Right.
without lighting the whole room up. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. So the one change that that I can suggest is, right now you've got 4 of these, and you got 4 lighting zones. If you wanted to have a master, I would buy I'd buy one extra one of these so that you can have the master. Or you buy a 5-button keypad that's like in the other rooms, and you could have 4 different lights here, and then have these be your zone adjustments when you want to be able to tweak it, right? So, so Annalise is going to think about that, talk to me about it later, all right? But this is zone control. We're controlling each different zone, okay?
And that'd be,
It's called Treatment Room 1 ADA. And so you just got, you know, one button does these 2 lights, another button does these lights, another button does the pendant, another button does this, another button does that, all right? Again, if you wanted to consider making one of them a master, have the other ones be zone, or going ahead and adding a button to make a master. But yeah, you have full zone control here. Okay. Oh, that's nice. We have moved to, this is VO Sales, room number 358. We're close to the South Tower. Okay. So again, we have more rooms here. Let me show you something. This is the first time that we've had occupancy sensors. Okay, want to come in? I want to show you guys this. All right. To date, we haven't had any occupancy sensors, but we have an occupancy sensor here. So, you know, this is going to control motion. All right. So one of the things that you guys can always do from a testing, somebody sits there and says, hey, my sensor's not working, right? Yeah, it could be battery is off, this thing is broken, it's not getting a wireless connection back to the device, the programming's gone bad. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, but you can test it very easily here. There are 2 buttons at the top. One's got a light bulb on it, the other one says test. The light bulb one, we can simulate whether the device is in, whether the room is occupied or not. So the first time I press it, see how the orange light goes on? It's like as if I walked in and detected me. So there was no change because the lights are already on. But when I press it the second time, the light doesn't go on, it simulates unoccupied and the lights go off, right? So you can use this to test it to see if it is. Now, one of the issues that you have sometimes is that there could be an HVAC vent or something that's blowing right on it, and it doesn't detect motion that well then, and the lights never go off. But you can always use this. So by just pressing this button, we know the device is good. We know it's talking to the, wirelessly talking to the thing. We know it's talking to my processor. We know the processor, the programming is good. So we know a lot just by doing this. All right. The only thing we don't know is this unique environment causing some unique problems that we need to look into. Right. There's a button called the test button. You hit the test button, and if everybody was to remain really still, it'll go off. But then you you walk around and make sure it can see you or not. So that's what the test button does. One press to put it in test, another press to take it out of test, all right? So the test button is not to test the lights, it's to test to see where the range is that it's picking you up, okay? Battery, I think it's like, let me talk to you about this aux sensor. Behaves a little differently. You see the ports that are on the front and back? That's one type of sensing technology. The other one is that dome at the bottom, another different one. So the dome is infrared. So it's just like your house type security. It's looking for body heat, right? And it's detecting body heat. It's detecting motion and body heat, all right? The ported one is ultrasonic. So it's not ultrasonic like it hears things. It's ultrasonic in the fact that it fills this room with sound waves, which is the equivalent of filling this room with water. All right, so that when somebody does this, they're creating a ripple in the water, it detects that. All right, so the reason why they like to use these two different technologies is that the infrared requires, how it's got a Fresnel lens on it, so it breaks, so my body heat, it doesn't send anything out, it's reading body heat, but it breaks up my body heat into these different facets. All right, you have to break two facets for it to detect you. So when you're closer, the facets are relatively close together. But when you're farther away, you might have to do this to break two beams, all right? So for that to be able to detect you, all right? So then you have the ultrasonic. So if you want these lights to turn on, both the infrared and the ultrasonic both have to detect you for the lights to come on. And this helps to alleviate false alarms, all right? The ultrasonic, it fills this whole room up, so somebody could be walking out of that office there, it's probably going to pick them up, all right? But we don't necessarily want that to trip. So the infrared probably has a radius. It's basically, its detection band is in a shape of a cone. So it probably has a detection of about maybe 5 feet, 6 feet radius, all right? So probably, you know, this tile, maybe a little bit further around, that's its detection zone. So while it would be detecting somebody coming out of the office, it wouldn't be until they get within this zone that the second one would pick you up, then it would turn it on. Okay. All right, so a closer look at the iPad app. This is the bar here, this drop-down bar is the bar that you decide where you're going to go into. So we have exterior, we have level 100 parking, we have level 100 center. These are all names that were taken from the drawings themselves. These are all names that you can change yourself, all right? Level 100 lobby, 300 center, and 300 main. We are in the center section, all right? So it'll bring up the drawing for the center section. All right. Some of these names are labeled, but since it's too crowded, the software just picks and labels whichever one. But, you know, we're right here. So it's called South Tower Member Services 358. But again, see this little thing here? Go ahead and change the name.
Edit.
Edit, change it, saves it.
Nice.
All right. So like I said, you can do on, off, master raise, lower. All right. If you just, you know, you guys here from a maintenance perspective, you just may want to just test the lights, you know. Or you can go into the space itself and you can take a look at thing. So now occupancy. It says it's occupied. It better. We're standing right underneath the aux sensor. If it can't pick us up, then we got a problem. So you can come into occupancy and it says it's set for auto on, auto off. That means when it sees somebody, it turns it on. When it doesn't see somebody, it turns it off. But it's a common deal. Auto off only, which we also call as vacancy mode, which means if you want to use the space, you have to press the button. But when you leave the space, it'll automatically turn it off. There's a lot of places that do that, particularly you have a line of offices and a hallway, and somebody walks down the hallway and lights up every one of the offices. They don't go into it, but the aux sensors see outside the door, and it lights up every one of the offices. And everybody goes, why did I spend, you know, $1 million on a lighting system and if they're going to do that? So a lot of people have gone, especially in conference rooms and stuff, they're going to what we call vacancy mode, which is, you know, hey, if you want to use it, it's not a big deal. You go home every day, you have to turn the switch on. Come here, turn the switch on. when you leave, or, at least from the management's point of view, they know the thing's not going to be burning all night long. It's going to turn off. Right?
Foresight.
Yep. So you can make that kind of adjustment. Additional sensor timeout. So right now, these are all set. This style is set to 8 minutes. Those wall ones are 15 minutes minimum. They can be set 5, 15, and 30 minutes, all right? So if you wanted to add more timeout, you can just add that. Or you can add custom amounts. So I guess you could make it exactly an hour if you wanted to. But this is a nice, easy way. And you don't have to worry about what type of aux sensor it is or anything. Say, hey, I want this space to have this many minutes, and we'll have this many minutes, all right? So just so you know how this thing works. So this occupancy sensor is still an 8-minute occupancy sensor. This space, if we make this change, is, let's say we've changed it to be an hour, all right? It's an hour after it doesn't detect motion, it turns off the lights, all right? But this is 8 minutes. So what happens is you basically have 2 countdown timers. This will count down from 8 minutes to 0. Once it reaches 0, it sends a signal to the processor and says, hey, I'm done. And then the processor sits there and looks up, do I have any additional minutes? Oh, we do. We've got 45 additional minutes. So it starts its second countdown timer and starts counting 45 minutes then. Okay. So now if somebody walks in, let's just say that we've done the first 8 minutes, we've done another 30 minutes, and somebody walks in. Well, what happens? It resets everything again. This thing goes back to 8 minutes. This thing goes back to 45 minutes. And everything just starts its whole cycle again. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But the point is that when you do additional minutes, it means it adds another timer. This thing, you didn't do anything with it, so it didn't change the timer in here. This is 8, but once this counts down to 0, then it starts the second time clock. All right, second timer. All right? So you can use that to adjust that thing. And you can say, occupied lights go to 100%. But you may sit there and get into this power deal and say, hey, we got these scenes, 175, 50, 25. You sit there and say, hey, I want the thing to be 50% now. Right? Now look at here. If I do this, let's get out of occupancy. Let's go to lights. Okay. Lights are at 100. Okay. Lights are at 75. Tell me how much of a difference you noticed.
Not much at all.
Not much at all, if any.
Right.
But you just saved 5% power. Right?
Set it all that way.
So here you can get some feedback as to the savings that you had. Now the savings are always going to be compared against 100% full on. It's not going to be, hey, now we do have reports that you can run that can compare month to month, all right? But it's never going to compare that, hey, I was doing 75% and now I've changed it to 50, what's the deal? No, when it says 29%, it's always comparing it to as if there was just a switch in this room and just turning it on, right? So you have to take the savings things with a grain of salt, all right? But it does tell you that, hey, when I'm dimming, I'm saving power. And this will be a good way for you guys to show management. Yeah, when you show management and you sit there and say, hey, we can do these kind of things and save you this kind of money.